And Oscar De La Hoya, his first world title was against a guy called Jimmy Breadhow. Okay, solid guy. He wasn't the best in the world, but he was undefeated at the time. Oscar De La Hoya defeated him. So that was his first divisional world title. He also defeated Jorge Paez to become WBO lightweight champion. So that was the second divisional title. But his first Hall of Famer was Gennaro Hernandez. He beat him when he was undefeated. He then went on to beat Julio Cesar Chavez, who was the second Hall of Famer. And this was at his third divisional world title. Okay? So Julio Cesar Chavez was the second Hall of Famer. The first Hall of Famer he beat in a world divisional title. He then went on to beat Pernell Whitaker, who is his third Hall of Famer and also the #1 welterweight in the world at the time. He then went on to beat future Hall of Famer Hector Camacho. So he has 4 Hall of Famers he's defeated, 2 Hall of Famers in 2 divisional weight classes, and he has so far he has 4 divisional world championships against solid competition. He then goes on to beat Arturo Gatti, which is 5 Hall of Famers. Then he beats Javier Castillejo for the super welterweight title. Castillejo is not the best super welterweight out there, but he was solid. He then defeats Fernando Vargas, who is his 6th Hall of Famer, or future Hall of Famer. I believe Fernando Vargas is going to be a Hall of Famer. Goes on to defeat Felix Stern, which is the 6th divisional world championship, and that's at middleweight. And Felix Stern was not the best middleweight in the world. It was Bernard Hopkins at the time, but again, a solid competitor, and it was undefeated at the time. Okay, you can argue that Felix Stern won that fight, but the point is he got the W. He didn't beat anyone else after that. So he has 6 divisional championships, and he defeated 6 Hall of Famers, of which he defeated 2 Hall of Famers in getting his divisional championships. Now, when you look at it that way, you realize Floyd Mayweather is really in a rare position. Him and Duran are the only guys to really beat that many Hall of Famers. 7, which is the highest. And at the same time, win so many divisional world championships. And at the same time, beat so many Hall of Famers. Face so many Hall of Famers and beat them to get those divisional world championships. He has 3. Nobody has gone past 3. So when I heard Joe Habib say that Floyd Mayweather's resume pales in comparison to these greats of the 4 kings, I question that severely, because from this data you realize, and I'm going to summarize one more time, Floyd Mayweather Jr. defeated, okay, he defeated 7 future Hall of Famers or Hall of Famers, 7 of them. You can argue 8 if you include Shane Mosley. He has also won against 3 Hall of Famers, in capturing 3 of his divisional world titles: Gatti, Gennaro Hernandez, and Oscar De La Hoya. Okay? No one has that combination, and he has beaten and gone up against the #1 competition in the world in 2 of 5 divisions. No one has done that. Okay? So his resume is actually better than Thomas Hearns, Sugar Ray Leonard, Roberto Duran, Manny Pacquiao, and Oscar De La Hoya. Now, Manny Pacquiao and Oscar De La Hoya won in more divisions, 1 extra division, but they don't have as many Hall of Famers that they beat. They beat only 2 Hall of Famers. Duran has a similar number of Hall of Famers that he beat as Mayweather, 7 Hall of Famers. He has 2 Hall of Famers that he beat to win divisional world championships. He beat Ken Buchanan. He beat Sugar Ray Leonard. He had 4 divisional world championships. Now, the reason why I include world championships so that I can clarify is because if you talk about the minor belts, usually the competition is less. It's usually lower. Even if it's a guy who had a great resume in his life, and even if he was a Hall of Famer, he's usually competing for a minor title because he can no longer compete for major world titles, and he's not in the major world rankings. Even if they did it earlier in their careers, they had a world title there, a full-fledged world title, along with those minor world titles, like Manny Pacquiao and Floyd Mayweather did. We don't usually think about the minor world titles. We look at the major ones. So what I have in display here is the resumes of the fighters based on the criteria I was speaking of. 1, the amount of Hall of Famers they beat. 2, the divisions they went up in for world titles that they won. And 3, when they won these world titles against the opposition that they faced, were they Hall of Famers, or were they #1 fighters, or were they solid fighters, right? So I have one more set of statistics which I didn't cover in this video for you. And that has to do with these stellar boxers beating all-time greats or future all-time greats. So here you see the number of all-time greats or future all-time greats these guys have beaten. And you will notice that Sugar Ray Leonard heads that list. He fought 4 all-time greats in Benitez, Duran, Hearns, and Hagler. And the definition of an all-time great is simple. You have to beat another all-time great, at least one. You also have to beat some Hall of Famers, and you also have to beat some stellar competition of your era, at least #1 competition somewhere, or some very solid competition. And also you have to have some great achievements. And you'll notice all of these gentlemen have that. Now, Sugar Ray Leonard beat, as I said before, 4 all-time greats. And how do I know they are all-time greats? Well, Benitez beat Duran. Duran, he beat Leonard. Leonard beat everybody. Hagler beat everyone but Leonard. And Hearns, he beat Benitez and Duran. So that's why those guys are all-time greats. And they also have exceptional careers. They beat Hall of Famers, as you saw, and all of that. Okay? Mayweather's next. He beat Marquez. He beat Oscar De La Hoya, and he beat Manny Pacquiao. Pacquiao beat Marquez and De La Hoya. Marquez beat Pacquiao, and De La Hoya, he beat Chavez, Julio Cesar Chavez, and Pernell Whitaker. So that's why there are 3 ATGs there. And then, of course, we already spoke about Roberto Duran and the ATG he beat, which was Sugar Ray Leonard. We spoke about Thomas Hearns and the ATG he beat, the 2, Benitez and Duran. And Oscar De La Hoya we spoke about, and Manny Pacquiao we just spoke about. So you can see that, again, Floyd, look at this. Floyd has fought, well, he's basically fought 2 future ATGs because Pacquiao's career is not over and Marquez's career is not over. Oscar's is. But the point is, look at his stats compared to the others. So again, I do not agree with what Joe Habib has said. And I have a lot of respect for Joe Habib. In fact, me and Joe Habib, we agree on a lot of things. But in this regard, I must tell Joe Habib, I think that Floyd Mayweather's resume is on par and sometimes better than these other greats. All right, you guys, have a great one.